Okay, hello and welcome to a new episode of Off the Bench with RGT. I've got Jishnu back on the show, and today we will be reviewing some of the IPL teams after the mega auction a couple of days back. But firstly, Jishnu, tell me, how do you feel to be back on the podcast?
I think I'm really excited to be back, to be very honest. I had a great session at the podcast with you last time. It was a lot of fun talking about things that I love, and it gave me a platform to really deep dive into my love for running. Which if it wasn't for the podcast, it would just be something that I probably internalized. But here I had to talk about it, tell people about it. So it was nice. And funnily enough, once you shared your posts, people who follow me, who I shared, have actually reached out with questions about running. So it's good. There's more awareness now. I think it's been a good thing that I did this, and I'm super excited to be back and talk about our love and hate for KKR at the same time right now.
Yes, exactly. So let's dive right in. That is our first topic of discussion. We will be reviewing Kolkata Knight Riders as our first team today. So Jishnu, tell me, what are your thoughts after the auction, or rather KKR's auction last weekend?
So I think I've had a lot of thoughts over the last 6 days about the auction in general, and by virtue of being a Kolkata Knight Riders fan since 2008. I think we've had very many heartbreaking auctions, heartbreaking seasons, exciting auctions, horrible seasons. So it's been a mix, and I think the last whole week I've had multiple conversations about the auction, with you included, with multiple people at work, other friends, about how the whole mega auction really went down. I was really glued onto my screen, from the very minute the auction started, because I was hoping people will make big moves. Sure, Punjab, Bangalore had the money in the bank, and everyone expected them to splurge. Well, Bangalore is another question. We'll talk about them later. But I really thought we would get at least one marquee player, from the first couple of lots that were going, and every time we put the paddle up. I think for Stark we went for a little bit, and for Shreyas I think we went till 10, and then we stopped. And I was just wondering as to what's the strategy that these guys are going with. Like, we definitely need that one marquee player, and who's our marquee player? Are we? So I mean, that was what my thought was, initially, and I think when we break down how KKR have done in the auction, I think we can break them down into three buckets. First bucket is people who I love that we've bought. Second bucket is people who I think we should not have bought at all. And the third bucket is people who I'm unsure about. So I think we'll start off, and I would love to hear your views also on who our potential captain is, Venki Iyer. Sorry. So funnily enough, he was the vice captain last year, and I did some research into his performances last year. What I didn't realize is he was the third highest run scorer for KKR last year, after Narayan and Phil Salt. And another lesser known fact is he had the highest average for all the KKR batsmen last year. Something that I wasn't aware till I was just looking into his stats to understand what the KKR management really saw in him, and why they would want to splurge 23 plus crores on someone like him, where we could have had other options, other players with in our team. But strike rate of 160, average of 46 if I'm not mistaken in an IPL tournament last year. So I guess maybe that's what they saw in him. They saw potential. Like, he was the vice captain last year. Maybe he can carry the team forward to and be a good captain. Maybe he's just someone who's been consistently average, above average, and has been going under the radar for many of us. So whilst I still feel that, I mean, would I have bought him in KKR? Yes, but would I have bought him for that price? I think that's a big no. Would have rather spend that money wisely in other areas that I think that we definitely need improvement. I think there are four buys that I really like. One is Decock. I've always been a huge De Kock fan. So I actually looked up his stats for the last couple of seasons. Not great, but I think he is someone who can really turn the game. And in an IPL tournament, where there are only 120 balls in an IPL match, I think if he can bat for about 30 balls, that's game-changing innings in any scenario. I'm a big fan of Gurbaz. I've been a big fan of Gurbaz ever since we got him. He has a lot of passion. That man is, power packed, aggressive batsman, fearless. But will Gurbaz and De Kock play together? I don't see that happening because unless we sacrifice on one of our foreign bowlers, I don't see the both of them playing together. So, but cheap price, 2 crores for Gurbaz, I think definitely worth the buck. I think around 3.6, 3.8 odd crores for De Kock, again worth the buck. He's getting a little older, but I think he can smash it around and give us a very very good start. Are they good replacements for Phil Salt? In my opinion, no. I think Phil Salt is absolutely a great batsman. Again, very 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 destructive. But yeah, he went for a lot, and I don't think we had the money to get him back. So that was one way. The other two players who I think are good buys. One is Raghuvanshi. I think he's young. You need to give him some time. He showed. I think in a couple of games last season he scored a 50. He showed some class. He moves around the pitch. He tries to read the game, and he's young. So it's a good thing to have someone like him. For him to keep growing in the ranks. And the other one that I think could be a good buy is Mayank Markande. I think we picked him up for a very cheap price. Last year Suyash Sharma did a very good job as an impact sub, a leg spinner, pretty much like what Markande does. So he could be the Suyash replacement this year. And Suyash this year went for some 2.8 or some nearly 3 crores. And in that scenario, when we get Mayank for 30 lakhs, I think that's something that could work in our favor. And he'll get grooming with there are already established spinners like Narayan, like Chakravarti. So will be probably good. So I think these were the ones that I would say I liked. Did not like. I mean, nothing against Manish Pandey. I think he's been around for way too long. He's had very good performances, even for KKR early on, then for SRH. Then again, I think he played one game last year for KKR where he scored a 40 odd, runs. So nothing against him, but I don't think he's someone who fits into the KKR squad organically. We'll probably have to make room for him, or we'll probably have to play him as an impact sub as a batsman. But again, maybe they have thought that experience counts, and I think this year's KKR team, when they were at the auction, I think all they cared about was like nostalgia. It seemed like Calcutta, where people are laid back, they don't want things to change. They are just let's just keep the status quo and be happy with what we have. Where every other team did shuffle around a lot. We kept 6 players, which is great, and I don't have anything against those 6 players. We kept the core of the team. But then we went one step ahead and then kept everyone again. Apart from a Shreyas Iyer replacement, I think we have fit like everyone into the team. And I think Shreyas Iyer and Nitish Rana are the only two, for whom we haven't been able to properly find a replacement. But yeah, we'll come to that, I think, a little later.
Yeah, correct. Just to add on my points quickly, I honestly was very happy with the retentions we made, the 6 retentions, because I think all of them are fully deserved. And our season kind of rests on those 6 players mainly, in my opinion. But I honestly thought we had a below average auction. So their strategy of just going back and getting all the players or majority of the players from previous seasons, I didn't understand. And Venki Mysore kept saying that, we wanted to keep our core together. You've kept your core together, right? You've kept 6 big players. And if Venki Iyer was one of the players that you definitely wanted to be part of the core, you could have retained him earlier as well. Because I'm sure the likes of Harshit Rana or Ramandeep Singh would not have sold for 23 crores, right? So I found that strategy a little stupid because there were so many other marquee players or even impact players like Phil Salt who did so well last year, who we should have kept. But I guess, like you said at the beginning of the show, We've had poor auctions and had great seasons in the past as well. So let's hope for that, I guess, for KKR.
Yeah, I think I agree with what you said. Auction for me also would be well below par. Buying people like Moeen Ali and Ajinkya Rahane, I just don't understand where they will slot in. It makes no sense. I don't know how this even works. It's just
Exactly.
having people there just to make up the squad. It seems at least to me. Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to our next team up for discussion today, Jishnu. We will be discussing RCB, just like the whole of India were discussing over those 2 days. I'll quickly share my initial thoughts and then we'll jump into what your thoughts are. I thought that day one was so poor. It was so poor. And there were rumors that they got a call from Australia and Virat Kohli was like, dude, what are you guys doing? What are you guys up to, right? But I thought they kind of balanced it out slightly better on day two. But their overall team still looks slightly disbalanced, in my opinion. I think Bhuvaneshwar Kumar was a great buy. They needed one marquee bowler, and that's really helped. But I was reading some articles about how RCB fans are never happy with a star-studded team. They always wanted a balanced team, and now that they've done that, their fans are turning against them again. So, what are your thoughts on their auction?
So yeah, I think like I said earlier, I think I expected two teams to really go, come out in the auctions all guns blazing. One was Punjab Kings, who actually delivered. They were the paddles were up from the very first player, and their intention was there that we have the money in the bank, we are going to spend the money, and we are going to get our players, right? But I just couldn't understand RCB at all. Like I was baffled by KKR for sure. But I think I was even more shocked as to what RCB were doing, the first day, like you said. I was just like, they have only 3 players. Firstly, I didn't understand the retention of Yash Dayal. Personally, I'm not a big fan. Exactly, right? Like, exactly. I don't understand why they would do that. I don't understand, with a team which just has Kohli and Patidar, potentially. To be very honest, even now I don't see Yash Dayal as a starting bowler for them, even after the auction. So why retain him in the first place? I have no idea. But nonetheless, that was their strategy. And I was just wondering as to what are they doing, because all they had was Patidar and Kohli. And I think the only 2 players who they actually bought, I think they bought Livingston early on, but apart from him, there was like no one else that they were really going for. Like there was no intention also. I think I just wasn't sure. I assumed that they would go big on a Rishabh Pant or a KL Rahul, but unfortunately, they didn't work out. Rishabh Pant didn't work out for them, and KL Rahul went for way cheaper, but then they didn't pursue it. But like you said, I think they did get a call, and I think they really turned things around for themselves on the second day. And now when you look at their squad, I think it's a balanced squad. It's not like 2015-16 season where they had absolutely 4 amazing batsmen up top and 1 Mitchell Stark bowling for them, and that was their team. I think they've tried to fix things. I think they've got 2 great assets, and these 2 great assets I wanted KKR to have. One is Phil Salt, who we let go, and I don't know why, and the other player is Liam Livingston. I think on his day, Livingston can pick up wickets and score runs at like 250 strike rate. So in a T20 game, what else do you want? I think Jitesh Sharma, he has now he's become like a good IPL batsman. Will help. I think these 3 with Patidar and maybe Devdutt Palikkal, who they bought after he went unsold, for 2 crores, could also potentially be their top 6, which seems like a solid, a batting top 6 with Tim David also there. Krunal, is a proven IPL performer, so could work out for him. Bhuvi, I am a big fan. There are many people who don't like Bhuvi. I think Bhuvaneshwar Kumar is a great bowler. He moves the ball, he swings the ball, and in a stadium like Chinnaswamy, I think that will aid him. Again, Josh Hazelwood, good buy, but I feel that his pace can be against him in a small stadium like that. So, yeah. I do feel that their weakness is again spin bowling. I think what they have tried to do, and I don't know if that's the right thing to do, they're gonna bowl Suyash, Liam Livingston, and Krunal, and they're going to try and get 7-8 overs from the three of them. Maybe that will work, but in my opinion, they definitely should have, they had the money. Chahal has been their star performer for years. He's a star in the IPL. You need to have gotten him back. Like, I think that was, where they went wrong. They needed a marquee star spinner to aid Hazelwood and to aid Bhuvaneshwar, because whilst these two seamers can maybe do well, if the spinners are leaking, then you're done. So what do you do there? And
the other way around as well, right, Jishnu? If the seamers have a bad day, right, you want to go to a premium spinner. Right?
Absolutely.
That's one thing which fortunately KKR have done well for the past 5 years.
Yep.
Varun Chakravarti and Sunil Narayan have been consistent, right?
Very.
So even if your opening bowlers have gone for runs in the power play, which is most likely the way the IPL matches pan out nowadays, they will go for 50 in the power play for sure. 50 is minimum, much more actually. So to go to that world-class spinner, I think RCB are lacking there. I know they have that Swapnil Singh as well, who bowled decently in the power play last year. But again, will Swapnil and Krunal Pandya play together? Both are left-arm orthodox spinners. I doubt it. So that world-class spinner, I feel, is one gap in their team. And I still feel their finishing might be a slight issue. I understand there is Livingston and potentially Tim David. But Tim David has never really done that well in the IPL, right? He's had that one-off match. I just feel they should have retained or rather bought back Wale Jacks. He offers more in my opinion. But again, let's see. I guess they might have Jitesh, Krunal and Tim David and Livingston bat at 4, 5, 6, 7. So that might work in their favor. But I do think they are slightly more balanced than last season. Because again, last season they had your Faf, Virat, Patidar, and then they had the two big boys in Green and who was it, Maxwell, right? And if they failed, that was it. So I feel it's slightly more balanced. But are they in my top 3 squads for the next year? I doubt it.
Yeah, I think I would agree with you there. I think you hit the nail on the head about a few things. Firstly, have they bettered their squad? I think they have. Like for example, Liam Livingston is a better replacement for Maxwell. We're going to call a spade, right? So he's a better replacement for Maxwell. Krunal Pandya, in my opinion, is a better replacement for Mahipal Longor. So that's another. Tim David, on his day, is a better replacement for Cameron Green. Cameron Green wasn't performing for them. So these are 3, where they have taken one step ahead, right? 100% Josh Hazelwood is a better replacement for Lockie Ferguson or Alzari Joseph or even Reece Topley for that matter, right? So they have they have made inroads into trying to make their team a better team. So definitely a better team this year. Agreed 1000% on the fact that they may lack a finisher. But yeah, and personally, I was never a fan of Karan Sharma, so I'm hoping that Suyash, I like him, young guy, KKR talent, we scouted him, groomed him, so I'm hoping he has a good year. So that's on RCB.
Okay, Jishnu, let's talk about your 2 big winners from the IPL Mega Auction this year.
So I think quite a few teams had average, mediocre auctions. One of the teams that did really well is Sunrisers Hyderabad. I think they have managed to set up a squad that can accelerate when they want, a bowling attack that can curb runs when they want, pick up wickets when they want, and with the likes of Travis Head and Abhishek Sharma opening. Ishan Keshav, I'm not a fan of, but on his day he can be someone who can score runs quickly. Henrik Klaasen, the man who nearly won the World Cup for them. So amazing players right on top. Klaasen's a game changer. He'll be a good leader as well, alongside Cummins, of course. Nitish Reddy is someone who has blossomed into a great cricketer. Performing down under in Australia right now, doing really well for the team. And seems like a fearless guy, who will take on any bowling attack and probably take them for runs. And on the bowling side, I think they've got probably the best and the most balanced bowling lineup with Shami, Cummins, Zampa, and Harshal Patel. I think they've got a marquee spinner. They have two world-class bowlers in Shami and Cummins, and they have that Harshal Patel wicket-taking ability. Which I have no idea how he does it season after season. But somewhere or the other, he just turns up and picks up wickets and is always there in the midst of the wicket. So Sunrisers definitely one team. The second team that I feel could be a dark horse and have done well in the auctions is Delhi. I think Fraser McGurk or Faf, whoever opens, would be always an asset. Faf is always an asset, so that is going to be great. KL Rahul, I think he's someone for 14 crores is a great buy because he is someone who has consistently scored I think like 500 runs every season. So when you're getting a player for 500 runs a season, you are okay to spend 14 crores on that player. They have Abhishek Porel, they have Harry Brook, they have Tristan Stubbs, they have Ashutosh Sharma, they have Akshar Patel and Kuldeep Yadav. Both of them, good spinners. Akshar Patel can bat, and they of course have Mitchell Stark, Natarajan, and Mukesh Kumar. And I'm personally a big fan of Mitchell Stark, big fan of Natarajan. I think that bowling attack coupled with Kuldeep, Mukesh Kumar, Akshar, helping out could be a good team. It would be interesting to see who they have as an impact player and how they shape up. But yeah, I think they had a good auction, and I personally think that they can have a very, very good year.
Absolutely, man. I couldn't agree more with you. I think SRH have the most balanced team. They retained the right players. They bought the right players. I didn't understand the Ishan Kishan buy because they have Klaasen as a wicketkeeper as well. But then what I read is that Ishan Kishan has had his best seasons for Mumbai Indians batting at number 3. So they kind of look at him like that. But yeah, let's see. I think Delhi have really gone under the radar. In my opinion, they had a great auction. A very, very balanced auction. Harry Brook and Tristan Stubbs in the middle can be game changing. I feel they are the two most exciting batsmen along with Yashasvi Jaiswal of the next era of batsmen coming up. Like Harry Brook went mad against New Zealand in a test match yesterday or day before as well. And Tristan Stubbs in a small ground like the Kotla is ferocious. And that's where I feel likes of Fraser McGurk and Faf can come in and do wonders as well. But another team who I thought had a great auction, but it might take them a season or two to gel is Punjab Kings. I think they have finally bought good players. They've, had ridiculous auctions in the past. But that's one team who always kind of go back to the drawing board during a mega auction, right? They retain the least players and they kind of redo their team. I remember last time at the mega auction, they were the ones who got Sam Curran in for the big bucks and, they redid a lot of stuff. So it might take a couple of, maybe a year or so because they have so many new players. So you won't know what the right combination is. But I think they had a very, very good auction. Any thoughts on that?
So I think Punjab, like I said, they had the intent, like they had a game plan. Their game plan was ki boss, we are going back to the drawing board. We have retained two youngsters and we have a lot of money in the bank. So let's make use of the money. And they did that, right from Ashdeep to Shreyas, like right in the beginning, in lot 1, they were, going for the big guns and happy to spend. So the intent was there. So I think they are one of the teams that have actually achieved their game plan. Because they would have had a game plan in the beginning of the auction that going to pick up A, B, C, D. I'm not sure if they picked up C and D, but I think they picked up their A and B, and they are going to build a team around that A and B. And I think that, like you rightly mentioned, might not pan out this year, but next year, next to next year, I feel that's where they will start booming, and maybe we will see Punjab Kings as the champions of the IPL. And that's where I also feel, KKR went wrong. So, that's another thing where I feel that KKR didn't think of the future, whereas Punjab Kings have built a team thinking about the future.
Correct. And, one more thing I just want to touch upon. It's just a KKR thing that I wanted to talk about. They've lost 3 big men from the coaching setup. And they are the ones who kind of came in and changed their mentality last year and helped them win, right? They lost Gambhir, they lost Abhishek Nair. When you lose these 2 stalwarts, it's very important that you build your team smartly because your coaching setup has been weakened for sure. I know Dwayne Bravo's come in, but what Nair and Gambhir have done for KKR, is second to none, right? And that's where I think they went wrong again. So I am very, 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 I would say, scared about how they perform in next year's IPL. But yeah, I mean, last point from my end on Punjab. I think another combination that will work in their favor is the Shreyas Iyer and Ricky Ponting combination. They worked together at Delhi a couple of years back when the IPL was held in Dubai and reached the final. I think that was Delhi's best performance. So two of them together, I think, will work in their favor as well.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think Ricky Ponting is one of the smartest cricketing brains in the world. So
Yeah.
just having him on the table, I think that itself will open things up for Punjab as a team. So yeah.
Yeah. Great, Jishnu. Lovely having you again, and it was a pleasure to discuss IPL. I mean, so much has happened in the last few days with all the players going everywhere. So I'm sure you've been as excited to discuss this. But yeah, hope you enjoyed it, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I love talking sport. I love talking cricket. I think IPL is something where many of my friends are losing interest because they all say that it's etc etc. But I think I've been a fan of the IPL since it started, and I keenly follow the auction. I keenly engage in discussions about the IPL, and come the summer I'll be glued onto the screen every day, and I think I'm pretty sure we'll again do our Dream 11 GT. So yeah.
Yes, absolutely, man. Great having you, man. Cheers. Have a good one. Thanks. Bye.